was your exam? Good. Now, did we start with that chapter? Strategies we started, no? Problem improvement we started. We started with that chapter. No? We started with the third chapter, that is improvement in food resources. Till the other day I gave them a test. Your test was first chapter only. First full chapter. Yes, sir.
Oh, yes.
Only me? I'm asking you that your school exam only first chapter complete, both the chapters.
I'm not getting what
You don't have? Both of you have? Yes, sir. एक और कॉपी देना. एक और कॉपी देना. नहीं, वो नहीं लाया है, तो वो भी दे दिया है. और नहीं है. एक दो एक्स्ट्रा कॉपी रखना. कौन है एडमिशन? So let us continue. Till where we finished? Methods of plant breeding, improvement in quality, I think. No? That is what we were discussing. Let us continue probably. We just started this chapter. Methods of So improvement in food resources. We had started with this chapter, improvement in food resources. Did we complete this table, page 81? Sources. Did we complete this table? Check. No. Yes. We completed it. We discussed this chapter, this table there. So. Improvement in food resources. So as we are studying this chapter, look into page number 81. We had already discussed this table the other day. What are the different type of nutrients and their food sources? What are the different type of nutrients and food sources? We have been talking about all these. Now next is the crop season. To talk about the crop season. Now, what are the different types of crop season? Major, two words to understand, two terms to understand. Crops majorly are grown in the monsoon or in the summer time. So, I'm sorry, in the winter time. So, when we are talking about that monsoon crops or maybe the summer crops basically, though there are differences that way also. There are typical summer crops, monsoon crops, autumn crops, winter crops. Here we are studying only the two big categories, crops which are grown in the summer, monsoon, June, July, June to September, and the ones which are grown in the winter months, dry months. See there? So this roughly you will have to remember Kharif crops majorly grown in the summer rainy season, June to October. And Rabi crops grown with November to March, February. That is majorly the dry season, autumn, winter season. What are some types of crops? Check. If I talk about rice, wheat, rice, they come under which category? Rice and wheat should come under which category? Rice, wheat, barley, maize, corn, all these should come under Kharif crops. These are monsoon crops. Rabi crops, which are those? The pea, beans, gram, lentils. Gram, lentils, pea, beans, all these are Rabi crops, all majorly grown in the winter time. Now, check that word, photoperiods. What are photoperiods? Page 82. What are photoperiods? Photoperiod majorly means the duration of light that is necessary for growing or germination of seed and growth of a plant. What is the duration of light? Now that I talk about the duration of light, what is the meaning? Duration of light, I would understand. How can we differentiate? There are plants which require almost about 12 to 14 hours of sunlight for the process of seed germination and growth. If that is the case, such type of plants will be termed as long day plants. Long day plants means what? Duration of sunlight should be more, duration of light should be more than the shade. Shade here majorly means what? The night part. We differentiate that way, no? A day can be differentiated as day and night, a complete day. So when we are talking about long day plants, what does that mean? What are long day plants? Plants which require long duration of sunlight, quite a number of times, around 12 to 14 hours of sunlight. What type of crops? Majorly underline one or two examples. You'll have to remember some examples. See there, check there. Long day plants. What are some long day plants? Variety of green leaves, variety of seeds, long day plants. How will you remember which are long day plants? Majorly the plants grown in the summertime are all long day plants. We can talk about examples like the mangoes. Okay, we talk about examples like the mangoes. We talk about examples like the mustard, the mangoes, the mustard, the poppy. All these are long day plants. So what is the meaning? Long day plants means what? Long day plants basically means the type of plants which require long duration of sunlight for the process of their growth. What are short day plants then? Basically the winter plants. Plants which majorly grow in the winter. Now short day plants would be cauliflower, apples, okay, guava, grapes, strawberries. All these are short day plants. Meaning what? They require just about 6-8 hours or even lesser also is okay for them. In certain geographical areas, something around 5 to 6 to 8 hours of sunlight and enough. Winter crops, certain countries, winter means the night starts from 3 to 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock it's already night. So now when we are talking about those areas, those geographical areas, those countries, what's happening? Night is so early. So from 4 o'clock, can you imagine? 4 o'clock in the evening to next day, almost about 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock is night. So the day duration is very short. The plants which grow in that duration of sunlight, and even in our country also, if I talk about our country also, now during the summer time, when does evening start for us or night start for us? 7:30. 7:30, nothing before 7:30, you know. Winter time by 6 o'clock it's dark. By December, January by 6 o'clock it's dark, no? So that way, when we are talking about, and morning when, nowadays it's by 5 o'clock it's quite clear. By 5:15, 5:30 it's quite clear. Winter time, by 6:15, 6:30. Remember winter time when you go to school 6:30 also it's quite dark. No? So when we are talking about these type of duration, winter time when we understand the short duration of sunlight, 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock, that is the major time sunlight. So this 6 to 8 hours of sunlight enough for the growth of the plants. Suitable for the growth of the plant. These plants don't need too much. For example, if I talk about oranges, short day plants. Now, why oranges are not there in the summertime? Because long duration of sunlight not suitable for them. Why mangoes are not available in the winter? Long duration of sunlight not suitable for them. They cannot grow. They need long duration of sunlight. Oranges need short duration of sunlight. Okay. What are day neutral plants? Variety of flowers. Day neutral meaning almost equal duration of sunlight and night or shade. Day neutral. So what is the meaning of day neutral plants? Almost equal duration of day and night. So if that is the case, they are growing very good. Photoperiod, stick those three words you have to remember along with few examples. Improvement. Now that we talk about improvement in the entire concept of improvement in food resources, improvement is done in what? Improvement has to be done in the quality. Improvement has to be done in the production. And not only that, say suppose a farmer has grown enough plants, so many corn plants, so many rice, so many paddy, so many mango plants, but by the time the plants are all mature, enough harvest. So now that the farmer has collected almost tons and tons of rice, kilos and kilos of rice, maybe now he had harvested or maybe now he has harvested almost about 100 tons of rice in the month of March. But can he sell all these in the market at one go? No, little by little he has to sell. So this farmer has produced almost about 100 tons of rice, but he cannot sell all of them together because every particular farmer or every particular breeder, dealer has got only one particular limit. No, beyond that they cannot sell. So now, what will he do? Maybe now one day he can sell only maybe 100 kilo rice, but so much is left with him. Now he has to also know the good protective methods also, how to protect his grains and seeds and cereals and fruits. Remember, these breeders and the farmers that they harvest the fruits and the grains, the fruits also that they collect from the farm. The fruits, number one, they get rotten and perish so fast. So again, for them also there's a limit. They cannot sell them at one go, whatever is the harvest. Maybe now 100 sacks of apples. Can they sell all the 100 sacks at one go? No, maybe only 5 sacks one day. So 100 sacks means almost about a week gone. So he has to know methods how to save this crop, how to save this fruit. So the entire chapter is about improvement in methods of production, improvement in methods of protection, improvement in the method of variety also. What is the meaning of variety? That is the first thing that we are going to learn. Variety. What is the meaning of variety? The quality. No? The quality. Now that it is just monsoon time, now that it is just the mango season gone, if I take that example, you see all of them mangoes. No? Are you aware that there are so many different varieties of mangoes? Aware? At least 4 or 5 varieties you have seen, no? So 4 or 5 varieties you have seen, but then you must have seen at your home only 2 or 3 varieties have come. Did your mother buy all the different type of varieties what was available in the market? No. Bananas, so many varieties we get. But we would generally buy some 1 or 2 varieties. Again, depends on our choices. So when we are talking about the variety of the rice and the cereal, the grains, the variety of the fruits and the green leafy vegetables and etc. I talk about down there in the market also. If we go, there will be some 10 different type of vegetables. The moment you see one type of vegetable not very fresh and there may be holes in it, we don't buy. But why don't we buy? Because we feel no, the quality is not good. But the type of the fruit, crop, green vegetable which looks quite fresh, no crumpling, the leaves are not dead, or the fruit and the crop does not have any holes in it or some marks in it, which looks quite appealing and fresh, that is what we buy. Go to the market to buy rice and grains and cereals, dal. There are variety of types we get to see. The rice, quite a number of types of rice broken, some, some you get to see the moment you take them in your hand, you get to see some holes will be there. And there are other different methods of testing them also. So the grains and the rice and the pulses and everything, we generally go for a preliminary check before we buy. Why? Because we more or less try to focus on the variety. For example, again, if I talk about the variety of apples, there will be now 2-3 varieties of apples down there. Some are red, quite big ones, which we have eaten earlier. Yes, they are sweet, they are crunchy. There are some other types of apples which are a little bit whitish, not that red, which we have eaten earlier. We did not like the taste, so we would not buy them again. There are another type of an apple which are almost, almost yellowish, not a mixture of yellow and red. So these are all different varieties of apples. And nowadays we have got the hybrid ones also, the green apple and etc. So now when we are talking about the varieties of apples, the varieties of guava, the varieties of mangoes, the varieties of banana, etc., etc., what are varieties? The types of a fruit, the types of a crop, the types of a cereal, etc. Now the question is that when we are talking about the type, see the crop variety improvement. Crop variety improvement. Now what is crop variety improvement? What are we trying to study there? Crop variety improvement. We are trying to study there that if it is a concept of crop variety improvement, how can the variety be improved and what are the breeders trying to improve? For a breeder, for a farmer, if the particular plant that they want to grow, a particular breeder, farmer wants to grow a plant, what are some of the desirable characteristics they want in this flower or in the fruit? The flower will give rise to a fruit. So what type of a characteristic they would love to see or they would love to grow a plant with? What type of characteristics? Majorly, the plant should be resistant to diseases. The plant should be resistant to diseases. What is the meaning of that? A plant is growing in the soil, has grown quite tall, almost not giving fruits. But the farmer does not get adequate number of fruits because by the time the fruits have started coming, this plant always gets infected by some fungus. By the time the fruits start coming, the plant always gets infected by some bacteria and half of the fruits are all rotten in nature, half of the fruits in a raw condition follow, the leaves are all crumpled, the flowers are all small. So that means this type of a plant which is growing in the soil is not resistant to disease-causing organisms. Is that a good variety that the breeder would try to grow? Never. The breeder would never try to grow such type of crops. So the breeder would try to more or less correct this feature in a plant, provided maybe this plant already has large fruits. The plant already gives large fruits. So the breeder would try to somehow correct this feature. Then again, this particular plant is now some other features. What are some of the other corrective features in a particular plant? The plant is easily affected by abiotic factors. The plant is easily affected by abiotic factors. What is the meaning of abiotic factors? Abiotic factors means sunlight, temperature, humidity, moisture, water, etc. Now that rains are happening, there will be some 5 varieties of rice plants unaffected by whatever the amount of rainfall is. But there will be 2 varieties of rice plants when the water level which was supposed to be till the knee, now the water level comes out little bit above the knee, the root starts decomposing. If this is a variety of a plant, then it is risky for the farmer to grow. So the farmer would never prefer to grow such a variety of rice. There are, now that the monsoon is happening again, in certain areas the rainfall is even more than last year, and in certain areas the rainfall is lesser. There are certain crops which require almost about 3 months of rainfall. There are certain crops which require just 15 days of rainfall. Variety of pulses and all, they require just a short period of rainfall, not a long one. The tur and the masoor and etc., the lentils, they require a short period of rainfall. 1 month, good enough for them. When the rainfall continues for almost 1 month, 10 days, 15 days, now the roots are almost in the process of getting softer, decomposing, and that can be seen up there in the plant also, that the plants are almost on the verge of dying out. Because the plants can tolerate only a certain level of water, beyond that they cannot. So are we going to say that these types of plants are resistant? No, they are so sensitive. So these sensitive plants, the farmer doesn't want to grow. It's because it's a loss for them. Even for us also, what happens? If you have a friend who is every time falling sick and not very resistant, cannot go out to play with you, cannot come out for the... No, quite often you also must have left him or left her. It's okay now, how many days I can wait for you? Same thing happens, no? But you have got a friend who is always very energetic, very much active every time. Teachers also love that child. You also as a friend love that child. Yes or no? Exactly same like that. Plants which are very sensitive, it's risky for a farmer to grow. Sensitive to abiotic factors, easily affected by the microbes in the soil, or many other factors, and the quality not good. Now, what would the breeder try to do? The breeder may, in case this plant has got 2 or 3 bad characteristics, but still some features are good enough in this plant. Maybe the fruit size is good enough, and the nutritive level is high. The nutritive level is very high. So this plant has got some good features also. Now what does the farmer try to do? The breeder try to do? Okay, try correcting this if possible. Then how will he try correcting this? Methods like hybridization can come in. Methods like hybridization can happen. So how will methods like hybridization happen? Maybe now this is one particular plant. This is the plant. I talk about one particular breed of a mango. I talk about one particular breed of a mango. Now what happens? The breeder tries to merge this one particular part of the mango. This is one breed, and there is another breed. If it is a concept of hybridization, remember, we are talking about tissues of 2 plants. So this is one variety which has got some good points, some bad points, and the breeder wants to correct these points. So what will he do? He will select the tissues of another breed of a mango which does not show these features. So what about this plant? This plant is disease resistant. I would say this plant is disease resistant already. The plant easily does not get affected by microbes in the soil. Does this plant get affected by rains? No. Also resistant to variety of factors like temperature and humidity and rainfall and etc. So this plant is already resistant to all these factors. So now what does the breeder want? Take the stem of this plant and attach it here. So what will he try doing? He will take the stem of this plant and attach it here. So now what's happening? 2 types of tissues coming together, right? 2 types of tissues coming together. This is the B part and this is the A part coming together. Now what is done? Some tissues, it is allowed to now, with the help of some ropes or tissue tapes, it is allowed to remain together. The 2 parts of the two different parts of the stem, sometimes the stem and the bud, sometimes the stem and the root. Various different types of plants are brought together, tied like this, and here some special chemical substances for growth, some disinfectants to avoid infection, all these are added. Now it is kept for some weeks, a couple of months in certain cases. After some time, what is observed is, yes, a new plant has started developing. A new plant has started developing, and it has now started giving rise to some fruits and flowers. Now that the fruit comes, the fruit is expected to show this feature, this feature, this feature, this feature. Now, I said it sounds very easy because I'm saying that just merge two plant parts and you get a plant like this. But it's an experiment. It has to be done, or it is done a number of times, and then it sometimes works out. Quite a number of times it will not work out also. It is possible that this plant is showing these features still. Then the breeder will not continue. Again, try doing it. So what is this concept of hybridization? What is hybridization? Hybridization means allow the plant parts to come together. So what is exactly happening here? Here, two type of cells are coming together. Yes or no? Two types of cells are coming together. Each of them, they have their own DNA, chromosomes, DNA they have. So this now undergo the process of fusion, something like this, and result in the formation of a new cell, and this would result in the formation of a new cell. So this type of cells are formed here. When the tissues are kept together, some chemicals are added, hormones are added, the cells which are closed, they undergo the process of fusion. There's a method to that. They undergo the process of fusion, and then now from here, new tissues start developing, group of cells start developing, and then the new flower, the new fruit. So if this is the method which happens, this is what is known as hybridization. What type of crops are obtained by the concept of hybridization? So many. If you talk about hybridization, maybe now we talk about this hybrids of bananas. No, so many varieties of bananas we get to see hybrids there. Mangoes, hybrids. So many hybrids of mangoes. Apples, hybrids. We talk about these hybrids of these potatoes. Potatoes are hybrid potatoes. So if you understand that the moment we talk about hybrid, it is a better quality than what we got before. Very simple to understand. What is a hybrid? Why are breeders making hybrids of flowers and fruits and crops? To some way or the other, correct the disadvantageous characteristics. Feeling cold? To some way or the other, correct the disadvantageous characteristics. Whatever disadvantageous characteristics, try to remove them away. So in that case, keep on experimenting with parts of the plants which has got good characteristics. 2 or 3 bad characteristics in that process may get wiped away. So that is the concept of hybridization. Variety of crops. So the flowers basically what we get, say suppose this marigold and all this we get today are all hybrids. The marigold, the variety of flowers that we get today are all hybrids. Naturally talk about how many flower one marigold plant would give, and that also marigold is a winter flower. But we get marigold now in this monsoon season, and that also in huge numbers. No, because it is all artificially done. It is all the process of hybridization done. So hybridization is not only for crops, also for variety of flowers. Now talk about the next method. genetically modified crops. Then now hybridization is comparatively an easier method. Take the tissues, the leaf or the stem and the root and the flower, whichever tissues, depending on which plants. Take the tissues, merge them together with various all these conditions, see whether they give rise to a modified part of the plant or not. So that is the concept. But genetic modification needs enough of scientific knowledge, enough of expertise. Good laboratories are required, good microscopes are required. For genetic modification, no, the plant breeders and the farmers cannot do genetic modification. The concept of genetic modification, major part is all done in the laboratory. Genetic modification. What is the meaning? What do you think genetic modification should have been? Absolutely bringing about changes in the DNA of the cells. Again, for example, I talk about this particular plant. Now it is not hybridization. Now I want to know what is genetic modification. Now this is the plant. I want to correct these features in the plant. So what I have to do, I have to, now that this particular flowers, I have to concentrate on. What will happen to this particular flowers? This particular flowers that I understand will undergo the process of pollination, pollination, fertilization. And then after the process of pollination, fertilization, this flowers will give rise to the seed. And from the seed, the new plant comes, no? So the flower, after the process of pollination, will give rise, fertilization will give rise to the seed. So what am I supposed to do? Take the seed. The seed is a multicellular structure. Alterations are to be done in the cells of the seed. So now what next? Select this is the entire multicellular structure that we are talking about. Now select only one cell of the seed. Now select only one cell of the seed. The seed has its chromosomes. What are chromosomes? Thread-like structures in the nucleus. So take this thread-like structure and this is the chromosome in detail now to be studied. What is inside the chromosome? Again, inside the chromosome will be the ribbon-like structure known as the DNA. The DNA now to be studied again in detail, where the DNA will have various regions. What are these regions of the DNA known as, which regulate certain features? These are known as genes. Now, we just take a simple concept. Maybe now this farmer or the breeder wants to correct this feature, wants to correct this feature. So he has to now, the breeder, I said, the farmers are actually not doing this process. It is the scientists who are doing this process. So now they have to understand which is the gene which is responsible for these features. So now take away this gene from here, take away the gene from here. Is it possible? Take away the gene from the DNA? Yes, with the help of enzymes. So now at this particular region, what is to be added? At this particular region, specific enzymes are added which will dissolve the DNA. And now what is to be added there? जैसे ही enzyme दिया, part of the DNA gets dissolved. But something more has to be added there, no? Now they will start adding up the desirable gene that they want. They will start adding up the desirable gene that they want. पर ये desirable gene आएगा कहाँ से? From another plant. From another seed, from another plant, this desirable DNA has to be added. अब जब desirable DNA added हो गया, these cells are all modified. So certain cells, they will modify, a large number of cells, they will modify. Now you will feel And how is it possible? The cells are here in the seed. The cells are taken out and modify karenge to the cell is all dying out. How is it possible? No, the cells will not die out. These cells are studied under some electron microscopes. उनमें छोटे-छोटे changes किया जाता है. And then the cells are now kept in the laboratory conditions, allowed to grow. Rapid cell division hoga, the cells will grow. What will a group of cell give rise to? A group of cells will form a tissue, and then small saplings will get formed. So these modified group of cells that the scientists have selected and changed. So sara seed ko they will not change. They will maybe take only 100 cells. They will only take a small part of the seed, some 100 cells, 200 cells. They will select, make some changes. Changes करके they will keep in the laboratory conditions. In those laboratory apparatus में रखते हैं with all the chemical substances which should promote growth. And if it is successful, in a period of a month, the group of cells will start their process of division and छोटे-छोटे plantlets grow होगा. Other plantlets grow हुआ, then they will shift it to the soil. Now it is ready to grow in the soil. Now they will shift it to the soil and now check whatever correction they wanted to do, did it really happen or not? If it happens, then very good. Nahi hua, then again they have to check for it. So now, what is this method known as, where we understand that the gene and the DNA has been modified? What is this method known as? Genetic modification. So which method you feel is a more strenuous and a more difficult method? Genetic modification, no? Genetic modification is a very difficult method. It has to be done in the laboratory. The scientists can do it, only the farmers cannot. The farmers can only give some information that these are plants with such defects. Correct them. Only that much. The rest is all done in the laboratory. What are the common types of genetic or genetically modified crops that we consume today? Are you aware? What are the common genetically modified crops that we consume today? The tomatoes that we consume today are genetically modified. Tomatoes, when we talk about quite a number of fruits and crops, the tomatoes, the chili, the purple cabbage, you all have eaten the purple cabbage, that's genetic modification. We talk about this, the bell pepper and all that you eat, that is hybridization. That is hybridization. Then broccoli, yes, genetic modification. So now, when we are talking about variety of crops, seeds, all these dals, especially the variety of lentils that we eat, are basically genetic modifications. So we will talk about genetic modifications in the field of rice, in the field of lentils, tomatoes, cauliflower, broccoli, cotton, so many genetically modified crops these are. Then what is the meaning of genetic modification? When the changes are done at the level of the DNA. What is meant by hybridization? When two tissues, three tissues of plants brought together and grow. That is hybridization. Now see there in the next paragraph. Are this concept clear a little bit? You will only be asked to write down. So this basic thing you understand, it is enough. Write one difference first. Take one question there. Write two differences between. What is your school timing?
From 9 to 3.
9 to 3. Amenities में data को release. Okay. Difference between hybridization and Difference between hybridization and genetic modification. Difference between hybridization and genetic modification. Make a table. Right now, for hybridization, right? A process in which tissues of two or more plants are brought together. Tissues of a process by which tissues of two or more plants are brought together and allowed to fuse, resulting in the formation of improved variety of cells. Improved variety. They are actually known as explants, but these words are not there in your book, so write the general concept only. Improved variety of cells. Other side, genetic modification. Manipulations are done at the level of DNA. Manipulations are done at the level of DNA. Manipulations are done at the level of DNA of certain varieties in order to get an improved variety. Number two, genetic modification. Hybridization. This can be carried out by farmers and plant breeders. Genetic modification, the other side you write. Genetic modification, other side. This method needs scientific expertise. This method needs scientific expertise and can be carried out. In the laboratories.
For hybridization, this can be carried out by farmers and
Plant breeders. Example, hybrids, you can write banana. Hybrids of banana we come across. Hybrids of mangoes we come across. brinjal we come across. All these are hybrids. One variety with the other to get an improved variety. Other side, genetically modified crops, cotton, mustard, rice, cotton, mustard, rice, genetically modified. Now come to the next paragraph. Factors for which variety improvement is done. Factors for which variety improvement is done. ये AC टेम्परेचर थोड़ा बढ़ा के देखो रिमोट का है. Now when we are talking about factors for which, now see that paragraph there, page 83. Now let us discuss this. Once you are a little bit aware about the two methods, now you will understand this very clear. Factors for which variety improvement is done. Now what are we trying to understand is, कितने में है? 22 में होएगा. 24 पर. 24 किया? So now, factors for which variety improvement is done. Now when we are talking about factors for which variety improvement is done, meaning what? Just now I was telling you all these. Improvement, variety improvement क्यों किया जाता है? किस reason की वजह से hybridization they will do? For what good reason they will go for genetic modification? क्यों करते हैं ये method? Let us see. The first point is improvement is done. Methods of improvement is done because of higher yield. एक particular crop है. The farmer every time he grows a particular type of, maybe now I talk about a type of a crop. Cauliflower है, cabbage है, brinjal है, spinach है. The farmer grows, the farmer sows the seed. Okay, good variety of seeds he plants. But after 3 months he gets to see that the plants are not growing that much. But he had put some manure also, सब हो गया. But जो growth होना चाहिए था in a period of 3 months, no, that growth has not happened. And अब जब harvest time आ गया almost 6 months, 7 months के बाद, the productivity is not that good. So he is trying every time his best. Good seed he would buy and then he makes the soil very nicely, plowing and everything सब हो रहा है, manure भी दे दिया. But after that, when he is putting the seeds, banana ho, या orange हो, या mango हो, he gets to see that no, the growth is not appreciable. Growth अच्छा नहीं हो रहा है. 6 months हो गया, the plant is still not growing. उतने numbers से flowers नहीं आया है. In that particular plant, maybe hundreds of flowers आना चाहिए था. 50 flowers आया है, for example. So that is what I understand when we are talking about higher yield. So now the plant breeder or the farmer would try to go for this method. Let me go for hybridization and try to make the plant a good variety. Okay. What is the next one? Improved quality. Improved quality basically talks about the nutrient level of the grain. Now, see there, you are also aware when I talk about especially, now let me give you this simple example. When we talk about these dals that we buy, no, the tur dal and the masoor dal and the moong dal and the chana dal, etc., etc. Now that we are talking about these different varieties, are you aware that the prices of these different varieties are also different? है कोई idea है? कोई idea नहीं है. So if I talk about the moong dal is expensive. Masoor dal is comparatively bit cheaper. Chana dal उससे भी cheap है. But tur dal, if I say, it is very expensive. No. If I talk about the varieties of rice, at least this you must be having an idea. When we talk about certain varieties of basmati rice, there are certain varieties of basmati rice which is almost about 300 to 400 rupees per kilo. Itna sa packet, 300 rupees. But there are some varieties of rice, 1 kilo just 40 rupees. So उससे क्या समझ में आता है? The quality. certain variety of rice, grains, pulses, the change in the price is not only because the farmer or the vendors have to make a profit. No, based on the quality, they also have to cite a price. For chana dal, if they cite a price 200 rupees kilo, nobody will buy because chana dal ka utna hona hi nahi chahiye price. But tur dal, even if it is 200 people are buying, we are buying. Kyun? Because okay, ek to things are in demand, that also we understand, but tur dal ka nutrient level बहुत high रहता है. tur dal nutrient level is very high. Chana dal ka nutrient level itna high नहीं रहता है, so it cannot be the same price with tur. Even for oil seeds also, no. When we talk about oil seeds, sunflower seeds agar hai to it is comparatively cheaper. Mustard seeds hai to it is very costly. No, mustard seeds are very costly. Sunflower seeds, soybean hai to it is cheap. Because why are they like that? Why certain type of seeds are so costly and certain type of seeds so cheap? Based on what type of quality, what type of nutrient they have. Okay. Tell me, give me 3 examples of nuts that you eat. अच्छा, उसमें से सबसे एक्सपेंसिव कौन सा है पता है? नहीं, वॉलनट. वॉलनट सबसे एक्सपेंसिव है. वॉलनट, उसके बाद आमंड्स, उसके बाद काजू. सो नाउ व्हेन वी आर टॉकिंग, पिस्ताचियो भी वॉलनट के जैसे बहुत एक्सपेंसिव है. सो नाउ दैट वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट दीस डिफरेंट टाइप ऑफ नट्स, उसमें रफली यू वुड फील दैट सब में ही फैट्स है. फैट सब में है, सब में प्रोटीन्स है, मिनरल्स है. नो, बट देन देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ वैरायटी. If I talk about the walnut, the nutrient level, the vitamin, minerals are so much in it. And the way that these type of crops are grown, these are not grown in any type of a soil. Very much with care. These are exotic, with care. So obviously the nutrient level is very high and they are of a good quality. I already told you about biotic and abiotic resistance. No, एक particular plant easily gets affected by microorganisms in the soil. उसको हम resistant बोलेंगे कि sensitive बोलेंगे? A type of a cabbage, the farmer is growing cabbage, but वो cabbage 1-2 महीने होते ही एक fungal infection हो जाता है. So it's a loss for the farmer. So what would that statement be? The cabbages are resistant या sensitive? Sensitive. बहुत sensitive है ना? But the other plot of land, another farmer is growing a breed of cabbages, जो nothing happens to that cabbage. Almost 2 different plot of land nearby. एक farmer यहाँ पे grow कर रहा है, another farmer nearby. The second farmer is growing a breed of cabbages, which may not be that big, size is small, green leaves, but उसमें कुछ नहीं होता है. In 6 months time, enough productivity आ जाता है. So, which one is a good variety? The second one, because the second one is resistant. Biotic resistant. So what is the meaning of biotic resistant? You understand? Any type of a crop, fruit, nut, cereal, grain, जो microorganisms, fungus, bacteria, etc. से resist हो सके, that is called resistance. Abiotic resistance क्या है? That also I told you a little bit. Abiotic resistance. Now, say suppose 2 adjoining lands, 2 farmers, one is growing corn, maize, उसमें भी the other land also growing maize. But now that the rains are quite heavy, in the second plot of land, it has been found that by next month, half of the plants are all getting rotten. Maize, जो है, जो आ गया, but then most of the plants are now dying out because now in almost major parts there is water logging and heavy rainfall happening. So now in 15 days time after this, the second farmer gets to see that half of his maize plants are all getting rotten. It's not growing anymore. But the first plot of land, not a problem at all. By the month of September, October, flourishing still. Productivity September तक हो रहा है. Which is a better variety? The first one. So what are we understanding? What is the meaning of resistance? Protect from the biotic agents, matlab living organisms, germs, pathogens, bacteria, fungus. Protect from rainfall, temperature, sunlight, etc. That is called abiotic resistance. Okay. Tick there, keep a mark there. We'll continue again from here the next class. Okay.